The perk Hex Ruin is a perk I have used a lot lately, and I think a lot of other people have been using it too, because I see survivors complain about it in the forums a lot, and how it's OP. And, that, and as much as I have been enjoying it lately, because I love Hex Ruin and it carries me through everything, I wanted to see how effective it was if we were to make a few assumptions. One of the assumptions is that a survivor is going to get a skill check every 15 seconds. They could get it a lot more often, they could get it a lot less often. But for this experiment, we're going to decide that they're going to get one every 15 seconds. Ruin takes... Well, first, before we decide how... Or not decide, but discuss how much Ruin takes off of a generator has 80 charges normally, and there is no real way of just modifying how many charges it has. It has 80. Ruin takes 5% off of a generator's progress. 5% of 80 is 4, so Ruin takes off 4 charges. In addition, it stops any progress from being made for 3 seconds. One survivor, because in this case we're deciding that only one survivor is repairing the generator. One survivor completes 1 charge every second. 4 charges equals 4 seconds. Just the regression alone takes 4 seconds to recover. Plus the additional 3 seconds of no progress being made, that delays the generator in total by 7 seconds for each skill check. If a survivor were to get a skill check every 15 seconds, they would get 5 skill checks on a generator. Assuming they hit the good section of each skill check, this would add an additional 35 seconds to the generator completion time overall. So it's going from 80 seconds to 115 seconds, which is pretty good for one survivor. That's, additional 35 seconds. That's really good. I also wanted to see how well it would work with 2 people on a generator. You could do 3 people and 4 people, but the typical amounts you see on a generator are 1 and 2, so that's what I'm going to go with. We also have to make a lot of assumptions here. Let's say one survivor gets a skill check every 10 seconds, while the other gets one every 20 seconds. One survivor will cause 8 skill checks in the generator overall, and the other will cause 4. So in total there will be 12 skill checks from these 2 people. And so if we're going to have 5% regression from each one of these skill checks, that's going to be 60% total regression on the generator. 60% of 80 for the 80 charges a generator has, that's 48. So already you're adding 48 more charges to the generator for 128 charges. 2 survivors on a generator do not do 2 charges a second, they do 1.8. Normally, if a generator just has the 80 charges, 2 survivors will do those 80 charges in 44 seconds. But since Ruin makes it like 128 charges, that goes up to 71 seconds. So already Ruin is increasing the time by 27 seconds, which is pretty good. And now we still have to add the 3 seconds of no progress from each one of those skill checks. 3% for every skill check, there would be 12 in this case. That's 36 additional seconds there. So now we add those 36 seconds to the already increased 71 seconds, and that equals 107. So in the end, that goes up all the way from 44 seconds to 107, which increases the time it takes by 63 seconds. So most of the time, it's actually better for people to split up on the generators if there's Ruin. So if you're more on the survivor's side of this rather than the killer's side, a good thing to do would be to split up, because most of the time you're going to increase the time more through being 2 people on a generator over both of you splitting up to your own generators. So that could help you out a little bit. It depends on how you look at it, though. It could be more efficient for you both to stay on it. It's, I guess, a matter of preference, but Most of the time it seems like it'd be better to split up if Ruin is involved. Another thing to note is since Ruin would be bringing so much regression to the generator, that gives more opportunity for more skill checks to appear, and that just makes it take even longer. But let's assume that even though they get that 60% regression on the generator, they still just get the 12 total skill checks together. That's still 1 minute and 3 seconds additional time, which is still really significant. That's all I have to say about Ruin. I knew it was good. This really just makes me believe firmly that this perk is good. And do I think it's overpowered? No, it's a hex. You can break it. And hate on me as much as you want. But I think it's fine. But I just wanted to see how efficient it was. And it's really efficient. So, yeah, there you go. If you're complaining about Ruin, just consider how effective it is, I guess. That's all I have to say. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I'll see you all in the next one.